Labour is entering a period of serious self-examination as new, fact-based and verifiable polling data shows a noticeable shift in public opinion across the United Kingdom. Recent, credible surveys indicate that Nigel Farage's Reform UK is experiencing a measurable rise in projected voter support, sparking renewed discussion about political competition and the state of public trust in government. According to one of the latest publicly available projections, if a general election were held today, Reform UK might fall just 15 seats short of a majority in Parliament. However, experts stress that such numbers are only estimates based on current polling samples and should not be interpreted as predictions of actual election results. These findings come as the Labour Party prepares for its 2025 annual conference, where members are expected to discuss how the party can strengthen its message, reconnect with voters, and demonstrate its ability to govern effectively. Political analysts across the country have been studying these results carefully to assess whether the recent rise in Reform UK's polling numbers represents a longer-term political trend or simply a temporary reflection of voter frustration. A recent large-scale survey of around 13,000 UK adults suggested that public interest in Reform UK has grown in recent months, with many respondents expressing a desire for more political variety and representation. James Crouch, head of policy and public affairs at the polling firm Opinium, explained that this shift reflects changing attitudes toward the UK's traditional two-party system. He noted that both major political parties, Labour and the Conservatives, are now facing the need to better understand who their core supporters are and how to address the broader public's priorities. Crouch pointed out that Labour, in particular, appears to be losing support in multiple directions. Some of its traditional voters have shifted toward smaller parties such as the Green Party and the Liberal Democrats, while a smaller portion has expressed openness to Reform UK's message. This movement, he said, seems to be distributed fairly evenly across regions, suggesting that voter realignment is not isolated to specific constituencies but may be part of a wider national trend. According to him, this trend underlines the importance for all parties to communicate clearly, deliver realistic policies, and remain connected to everyday concerns of citizens. Meanwhile, additional polling has provided more context regarding public perception of current leadership. A recent survey conducted for Labour List found that more than half of Labour Party members would prefer a leadership change before the next general election, reflecting an internal debate about the party's direction and identity. In another poll, conducted by Ipsos, Prime Minister Keir Starmer's approval rating saw a decline, with only about 13% of respondents expressing satisfaction with his performance. Analysts have interpreted this not as a permanent judgment but as part of the natural cycle of public opinion during challenging times for a governing party. James Crouch also addressed the position of the Conservative Party, explaining that it, too, is facing difficulties in maintaining a consistent base of support. He noted that while Conservatives continue to appeal to some urban and more liberal voters, they have been losing ground among traditionally conservative voters in rural and small-town communities. This trend, he said, has opened up opportunities for other political groups like Reform UK to gain visibility and attract new supporters. However, he also stressed that Reform UK faces its own challenges, including the need to build organisational strength, develop policy detail, and maintain a consistent message across different voter demographics. According to Crouch, what we are seeing now is not just the rise of one party but a wider shift in British politics toward greater competition and diversity of ideas. He suggested that both Labour and the Conservatives will need to reassess their long-term strategies, focusing on trust, delivery, and authenticity. He added that any emerging political movement, including Reform UK, must also take on the responsibility of showing how it would govern effectively, maintain democratic standards, and uphold the national interest. Adam Drummond, head of quantitative research at Public First, supported this view, noting that recent polling clearly shows growing interest in Reform UK but with variations depending on the research method and sample size. He emphasized that public opinion data is not a fixed indicator of election outcomes and can change significantly based on real-world events, policy announcements, and campaign performance. The latest projection from YouGov suggests that if an election were to take place today, Reform UK could potentially win around 311 of the 650 parliamentary seats, making it the largest single party in Parliament. However, this would still fall short of the 326 seats required for an overall majority, likely resulting in a hung parliament scenario where no party governs alone. In the same projection, Labour is estimated to secure around 144 seats, followed by the Liberal Democrats with 78, the Conservatives with 45, the Scottish National Party with 37, and the Green Party with around 7 seats. Smaller regional parties and independents would account for the remaining seats. These numbers, while hypothetical, indicate that voter loyalty to traditional political parties has declined in favour of a more open and competitive landscape. Analysts believe this reflects a general desire among the public for fresh voices, new ideas, and more transparent leadership. As the Labour Party convenes for its 2025 annual conference in Liverpool, internal discussions are expected to focus on reconnecting with the public, improving local engagement, and updating the party's communication strategy. Drummond noted that it is not unusual for governing parties to experience declining poll numbers in mid-term cycles, pointing to historical examples where governments later regained public confidence before elections. However, he emphasized that Labour's challenge now is to ensure that its message resonates with ordinary citizens and addresses the real issues they face, such as cost of living, housing, healthcare, and job security. Drummond further explained that political success is ultimately based on credibility and consistent delivery, not short-term popularity. Voter confidence, he said, is built through practical results and clear evidence that policies are improving daily life. He added that while Reform UK's rise has brought new energy to the political conversation, it remains to be seen whether that momentum can translate into long-term stability and governance experience. Analysts generally agree that the UK is now moving toward a new era of competitive multi-party politics, where multiple groups may share influence rather than one dominating the system. While Reform UK's rise is noteworthy, researchers caution that polls only capture public sentiment at a specific moment in time. True results are determined only through official elections supervised by the Electoral Commission, which ensures transparency, fairness, and accuracy in the democratic process. Experts consistently remind viewers that polls should be seen as indicators of trends rather than final outcomes. In summary, the latest data paints a picture of transformation within the British political landscape. Both Labour and the Conservatives are working to rebuild voter trust and strengthen their grassroots networks, while Reform UK continues to attract attention as a growing presence. Political observers note that all parties now face the challenge of delivering policies that are practical, evidence-based, and relevant to the diverse needs of the population. As the next general election approaches, the focus is expected to remain on policy detail, public service delivery, and the ability of leaders to respond effectively to real-life issues. And if you want more hard-hitting breakdowns like this one, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next update.